Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Mahsa and it's been a hot minute since I did any sort of bookish content, and that's probably because I've been in kind of like a reading slump for the past year. I would say like all of 2022 I was pretty slumpy, and I think I ended up reading maybe about 20 books, and honestly, I think the majority of those were audiobooks because my brain was just not cooperating when it came to physically reading any books. But luckily, this year it's been okay. So far this year I've read 3 books, which is wild because 2 of them have been physical books. And I'm on like a good roll, so I'm hoping to keep that going. So I'm gonna do myself a little February TBR, and that is why we're here today. So I'm very much a mood reader. I will just pick up something that I fancy, and TBRs don't particularly work for me. So this is more of like a rough guide of the books that I want to read this month. So we're gonna start with some romances. I know, romances in February? Groundbreaking. But that's what we're going to be doing. So the first book on my TBR for this month is The Roommate Experiment by Elena Armas, and they are the author of The Spanish Love Deception, which I adored. I loved that book so much. I know it's got very mixed feedback online, but I really enjoyed it. So this book is set in the same universe as The Spanish Love Deception, and in this one we follow Rosie, who was Lena from the first book's friend, and we follow Lucas, who I believe is Lena's cousin. I think it's their cousin who is coming over from Spain to stay with them, and somehow they end up being in the same apartment, as in the roommate experiment, and it's a romance, so we can all pretty much figure out what's going to happen. It sounds really cute, and I'm really hoping that we're going to get Lena and Aaron from the first book to make a cameo, because that would just be perfect. Next book on our romance list is Delilah Green Doesn't Care by Ashley Herring Blake. This has been on my TBR for the longest time, and I'm determined to finally get to it this month. This is a sapphic romance, and it's about Delilah Green, who is a up-and-coming photographer, and her stepsister convinces her to go to their small town to photograph her wedding. There she meets the stepsister's best friend, Claire, and basically I'm pretty sure they're gonna fall in love because, again, it's a romance, and I think Claire tries to resist Delilah's charms and just ends up giving in eventually. I think it sounds really cute. This is one that has amazing reviews online and everyone seems to love it, and according to some reviews it's very spicy, which, you know, again fits the theme of February. Next up on our romance list is Final Offer by Lauren Asher. This is the 3rd book in the Dreamland Billionaires series. So you've got the first book, which is The Fine Print, the second book, which is Terms and Conditions, which I read last month and I adored it. I freaking loved it. I read both of them, and I think so far Terms and Conditions is my favourite out of the first 2. So each book in the series follows one of the Kane brothers. Their grandfather dies, and in order for each of them to get their inheritance, they have to follow some specific instructions that their granddad has left for each of them individually. So this follows our 3rd and final brother, who, in order to get his inheritance, has been tasked with spending a summer at the family lake house before selling it, which should be simple enough, except that the only girl that he has ever been in love with, whose heart he broke 6 years ago, also seems to somehow be living in that house, and her name is on the deed. So I think chaos is going to ensue. I'm hoping the other 2 brothers are going to make cameos because they're amazing. And this sounds really cute. I think it's going to be like a second chance romance. And Cal is such a fun character, and I'm so excited to actually get a bit more of him in this book because he's hilarious. Hello, Editing Mahsa here, and for some bizarre reason there's a couple of clips that are a bit blurry in this video. I'm really sorry. There's one bit that is the longest bit, which I'm about to redo right now for you guys. And there's a little bit further on as well, but only about like 10 seconds where I'm out of focus. So hopefully you won't mind too much. So the next two books on the list are books that I'm pretty sure you guys are going to be sick of me talking about them because I'm sick of me talking about them, but they are The Assassin's Blade by Sarah J. Maas, and we also have Air of Fire by Sarah J. Maas. So Air of Fire is the third book in the series, and Assassin's Blade is the prequel novellas. Now, from what I've heard, you are meant to read this to have the best impact or the most impact between books 2 and books 3, and that's what I'm currently doing at the minute. I tried to start Air of Fire already, and I don't know whether it's because I was feeling slumpy or because in my head I keep comparing it to ACOTAR or what, but I couldn't get through it. I think I got like a few chapters in and then I had to put it down. So I'm currently reading The Assassin's Blade. I mean, I say we're currently reading it. We're 20 pages into The Assassin's Blade, and I seem to be getting along with this a lot better than I did with Air of Fire when I picked it up. So I'm hoping that by reading The Assassin's Blade, not only will I get back into the series, but I will also end up caring more about the characters, because I think one of the issues right now is that I don't particularly care about any of the characters. I don't have a favorite character. None of the characters really like resonate with me, and I need to like latch onto a character in order for me to really enjoy a series, as, you know, ridiculous as that sounds. So we are following Selena before the tournament and before the events of the first book, Throne of Glass, in this series. I believe it's like a couple of short stories or like a couple of like novellas in one. So that'll be, well, I'm hoping that'll be quite quick to get through. So once this is done, then I will be moving on to Air of Fire, which everyone says is the best book in the series, or like once you finish it, you immediately want to read the rest of them, which great, if that happens, then wonderful. But last time I got to, I've still got the bookmark in, I got to page 94, and at that point I was just like, I can't do this. But I seem to be in a better place with my reading at the moment, so I'm hoping that I can power through, and once I've powered through this, then I've got the rest of them up there waiting for me to read. So these are the 5 books that I really want to get to. And I still think 5 is a bit ambitious given my reading speed, because I read so slow. I read incredibly slow. So 5 is already quite ambitious. So in the unlikely event that I somehow manage to finish those 5, I have 2 backup books, and one's a romance and the other one, which we'll start with the other one because it's obvious, is Queen of Shadows, and this is the next book after Air of Fire in the Throne of Glass series. So if I finish Air of Fire, and it is, as everyone says, where you literally need to just go to the next book as quickly as possible, then I will pick this up and I will be so happy to finally be making my way through the Throne of Glass series. And the final one on the list is The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. This has been out for so long, and it has been so incredibly hyped / possibly overhyped for the longest time. So I just need to get to it. I just need to read it, and if it's this month, then great, and if not, then I will be putting it on the March TBR, because I just need to be like, I just need to know what the hype is about, because then they've brought out the next one, which I think is Love on the Brain, and then the third one's been announced. So this is about a girl in STEM, and Ali Hazelwood seems to be writing romances about females in STEM, which amazing, love to see it. This book has one of my all-time favorite tropes, which is fake dating. We love fake dating on this channel, and it's just It's so cute because there's always like mutual pining, but they're like, oh, it's not real. Love it. It's adorable. Absolutely love it. So this story follows Olive, who's a third year PhD candidate, and in an attempt to prove to her friend that she is in fact on her way to a happily ever after and she has a boyfriend, she grabs the first guy that she sees and kisses him, who just so happens to be young hotshot Professor Adam Carlson. And apparently he's a massive douche, but for some bizarre reason he agrees to go along with the charade and be her fake boyfriend. And I'm assuming romance ensues because it's a romance book. We love it. Love to see it. Love happily ever afters. Love fluff. Love smut. So that is my February TBR. Is it ambitious? Yes, absolutely. Do I think I'm gonna get it all read? No, absolutely not. There is no way I will be reading all of these books in the shortest month of the year. But I think as long as I get maybe like 4 of them read, then I will be so happy, because that's an improvement on last month and it'll be 4 more physical books that I've managed to make it through, which will be great. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. Let me know in the comments what books you're hoping to get to this month, or if you have read these books, what did you think of them? Which one do you think I'm gonna like most? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you guys for watching. If you liked it, give it a big ol' thumbs up. Consider hitting the subscribe button. I will be doing more bookish and business and lifestyle videos in the future. Thanks so much again, and I will see you guys next week for another video. Bye!